And today, Wednesday, September 16th. It's a big day on the podcast. The glee in my voice. Folks, what a memorable night we just witnessed in sports. I mean, it's got to be up there. Clippers gagging for the third straight game. Not Clip City, Choke City. Listen, there are 50 different ways to go on this. I could spend 2 hours just berating the Clippers. My phone was blowing up. People are like, my friends are like, oh, dude, you're going to have so much good material. This is going to be great. And I will start here. A little bit of me, a little part of Jason is a little sad that we will not see Lakers Clippers. Yes, that's true. I mean, we've been waiting 14 months for this. Since free agency happened. Everybody's like, all right, well, we're going to get LeBron versus Kawhi, showdown, Battle of LA, blah, blah, blah. They had some good showdowns during the season. Everybody thought it was going to happen. We don't get it now. But I guess we're going to have some fun tearing down the Clippers and Doc Rivers, one of the most overrated coaches, not only in the NBA, but in sports in the last 3 decades. But before we go there, the big picture takeaway is, you guys, we all have choices to make in life. There are some pivotal moments in your life. You got a decision. We had one. Jason, do you want to move out to LA, away from your comfort zone, away from your friends and family and your wife's family, and try this TV thing out, and we'll see what happens. I never lived anywhere except basically the Northeast and a stint in North Carolina briefly after college. And it was a tough decision, but ultimately I wanted to be here. The wife was on board. And there are job decisions that are difficult to make. And I think when you look at what just went down with the Clippers, to pinpoint the decision that Kawhi Leonard made in July of 2019, when he basically said to LeBron, thanks, I don't want to play with you. I'm going to go to the Clippers and I'm going to bring Paul George with me. That was Kawhi's master plan. He thought he was a genius. He thought he was building a super team. If you remember, there was a moment. It was Lakers, Clippers, and Raptors. And there was some thoughts that Drake could convince Kawhi to stay. And then, how's he going to turn down LeBron? And nobody had that Paul George, who had just signed. Remember, he was staying in OKC. Paul George got extinguished in the first round with Russell Westbrook 2 years in a row. And he's like, oh, I'm going to stay. And then quickly, Kawhi calls Paul George and says, come on out here. Let's do the damn thing with the Clippers. And we'll make LA a Clipper city. And that decision, you have to wonder, is Kawhi Leonard going to Uncle Dennis? Who, remember, if you remember the reports, there were Uncle Dennis, his handler, was going to the Lakers saying, we want access to a private jet at all times. I want this, that, and the other. Kawhi's making all sorts of crazy demands. Remember, I took a lot of heat for saying Kawhi Leonard got the luckiest championship that I can remember. Remember that Game 7 against the Sixers, the luckiest bounce in a Game 7 final shot ever. Ever. It was a lucky prayer that went in. I still maintain, if you watch the end of that fourth quarter, go on YouTube, the 76ers had their chances, folks. Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, and they had that game. And Kawhi hits his prayer. And then Kawhi gets lucky again when Kevin Durant's injured and plays 12 minutes in the series, and Clay gets, even without Kevin Durant, the Warriors definitely had a shot, and then Clay gets hurt in Game 6, and that's a wrap. Kawhi got lucky. And I took a beating for saying Kawhi got lucky. Oh no, Kawhi, he's maybe the best player on the planet. I mean, do we want to start with full series numbers for Kawhi against the Denver frickin' Nuggets? Or do we want to just go to Game 7? When it was Choke City. Kawhi Leonard, 0 points in the fourth quarter of Game 7. And folks, it's not like they lost a heartbreaker to the Nuggets. They got their ass kicked by the Denver Nuggets. I can't make this up. The Denver Nuggets destroyed Kawhi and Paul George in Game 7. I mean, really, they kicked their ass in Game 6 in the second half and in Game 5. So Game 5, Clippers led at halftime. And in the second half, the Denver Nuggets, who had really, Jamal Murray's never accomplished anything. Jokic has never won a damn thing. They crushed the Clippers in Game 5 in the second half. Outscored them by 18. Game 6, Clippers lead at the half. Nuggets outscore them by 29 in the second half. Game 7. Clippers lead at the half. Nuggets outscore them by 17 in the second half. Now listen, I can beat up Kawhi for an hour here. He's overrated. I saw somebody call him Chris Middleton with cornrows, which I just thought that was friggin' hysterical. A little slanderous. Listen, Kawhi Leonard's a very good player. He's a top 10 player in the league. But the fact that people were putting him up near LeBron, like, I'm telling you guys, LeBron ain't never go out in the prime of his career with a superstar teammate in the second round of the Denver Nuggets. Now, Rob G can, answer this one later. I think the one time LeBron lost in the second round, it was to the Boston Celtics. And I think he might have gone down to the Orlando Magic as well. Both those teams went to the finals. The Celtics won the ring. Dwight Howard lost to Kobe and the Lakers. We'll fact check that later in the show. But bottom line is, the hype for Kawhi and Paul George was through the roof. And listen, I was steadfast the entire time. I trust LeBron. I trust Anthony Davis. I don't know that I trust Kawhi and Paul George. And they didn't deliver. And, folks, it's not that they lost to like some juggernaut, okay? Jamal Murray had 40 in Game 7. Crunch time. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard combined for 24. I saw a tweet from Zach Lowe that said the 41st pick in the 2014 draft could not be stopped by what was supposed to be this amazing defensive team. This ridiculously talented defensive group that could switch on the perimeter. They had all these dogs, as Chris Broussard has told me for friggin' a year. My guy, Chris Broussard. Oh, they got Morris, and they got Pat Bev, and they got Paul George and Kawhi. Like, how are you going to score on this team? Jokic, 16 points, 22 rebounds, 13 assists in Game 7. Rob G pulled this incredible stat. Kawhi Leonard in the second half of the series averaged 9 points per game, 34% shooting. Is that clutch? Is that your king? Is this your king? Listen, Kawhi Leonard, at some point, under scrutiny, is Kawhi Leonard a system guy? He was in a system in San Antonio. It worked great. It was the perfect system. But he decided he didn't want to be under the iron fist of Greg Popovich. And so he left for Toronto. And they had two good guards. Freddie Van Vliet bailed them out a lot. Kyle Lowry bailed them out a lot. Kawhi was Finals MVP, yes. But there was a nice system Nick Nurse had. By the way, Kawhi leaves that system, and I think the Raptors still won 50 games, and they got to the second round of the playoffs. Just as a note, when LeBron leaves the team, the bottom falls out. He left the Cavs the first time, lottery team. He left the Heat, missed the playoffs. He leaves the Cavs again, back to the basement. Don't put LeBron and Kawhi in the same sentence. It is silly. It is reductive. LeBron is the system. Kawhi, maybe he's a system guy. All right, let's go on to a couple more notes here. Doc Rivers. I was crushing him probably a little hard. I felt a little bit bad for Doc Rivers, the way I was beating him up on Twitter, and people are going after him. And this is a guy now who has choked away 3-1 leads 3 times in the playoffs. Once with Orlando, and I heard a great Tracy McGrady quote. They were up 3-1, and Tracy McGrady apparently said, it feels great for the first time I'm going to get out of the first round. Then they lost the next 3 games, T-Mac. Then he did it with the Houston Rockets. And the Clippers just totally choked. Rockets storm back and win 3 straight against Doc Rivers. And now against the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets. I don't know how Doc lives this down. I don't think you can get rid of him because Ballmer, the owner, loves him and he's a great players coach. And Doc Rivers is a great guy. I've been out to restaurants in LA and seen him, and people want to go up and glad hand Doc Rivers. He's he's on the surface, he's a really nice guy. He plays the media well. But this is a guy who was a nice role player with the Hawks, and he was on my favorite Knicks team. And all he's done is underachieve as an NBA head coach. He won a title with the Celtics, a super team. And other than that, he really hasn't done anything. to warrant this like exalted status that Doc Rivers is one of the best coaches in the league. I guess my final thought is about the future of the Clippers. And we've been talking about Giannis a lot. And I think there needs to be some scrutiny for the Clippers. A couple notes. Number one, they don't have a first-round draft pick until 2027. 2027. So they can't build through the draft. Right now, you're looking at Montrezl Harrell and Morris are free agents. I mean, those are two of your top 7 guys. Morris, was a starter, and Harrell was the 6th man of the year. Is somebody going to offer Trez Harrell some money? Are the Hawks going to throw some money at him? Somebody going to try to make a small ball 5 in the role of Draymond? Although he really got exposed against Jokic, and he can't shoot threes. So I think the Clippers' future is suddenly a little questionable. Remember, Paul George, 1 more year, and then he's a free agent. He's going to hit the market if he wants. I don't know what the relationship is between Kawhi and Paul George. And I got to keep it real here. This team underachieved. It's pretty clear the Nuggets are going to be a problem. A guy by the name of Will Barton was like a starter and a pivotal player on their team. He hasn't even played in the playoffs. He's hurt. So, Nuggets aren't going anywhere. Golden State Warriors are going to be back. We know that. They're not going anywhere. LeBron breathing. Lakers will be there. We'll see what becomes of the Houston Rockets. We'll see what happens with OKC. But this idea that the Clippers are going to just steamroll the West, folks, they're going to have some challenges next year. Utah Jazz will bring back Bogdanovich. I've said enough about the Utah Jazz. That was kind of a joke. But this West is going to be difficult next year. And we're looking at just an embarrassing situation for the Clippers, having to go back home, tail tucked between their legs, didn't even get to the conference finals. By the way, that makes 50 straight years that the Clippers have not made the conference finals. Longest drought in the NBA. All right, Rob G., I thought I'd bring you in to laugh at me for whiffing on my double dose in the best bet. Clippers first half, they gagged it away. They were leading by 11 with 3 minutes left, and Jamal Murray went postal. And then, of course, Boston covered in the teaser. I told you guys not to tease. And then the Clippers had to win by 2 or 3, and they lost by 15. So the best bet, a double loss, that comes on the chin. But Rob G., you're a big Clippers fan, aren't you, or something like that?
Christmas has come early to the Guerra household. I tried to tell you months ago the Clippers were frauds. They were not to be taken seriously. I put hashtag Lakers in 6, I think, back in December because I knew that they were no threat to us. And to see the way that they folded down the stretch repeatedly just made me so happy. I mean, and then the best part about all of it, too, was after the game, the excuses that were coming out of that locker room were rich. Let me just give you a few of them.
Oh, boy.
Paul George said, internally, we never thought this was a championship or bust season because we know that we weren't together long enough.
Come on. Fuck out of here.
Lou Williams said, you know what? Hey, we just didn't have the chemistry.
Well, we've been harping on the chemistry for a while. That's been pretty clear. But you're not supposed to lose Game 7 of the friggin' Nuggets, Lou.
Exactly. Now, this is my favorite one. Mark Spears, a great reporter at The Undefeated, said after the game, several Clippers were so fatigued during Game 7, they struggled to play stints longer than 3 minutes and asked to be out of the game for a breather.
What?
The Clippers are the softest bunch of chumps
I thought they were dogs.
in NBA history.
I thought they were dogs.
If it wasn't for the fact that Chris Broussard, his friend of the show, friend of this program, has to buy me a 20 wings a combo now from this bet that he lost to me about the Lakers and the Clippers, I would continue to call him out for saying, the Clippers are dogs.
Yeah, Rob G., so Mark Spears is getting that from somebody. I'm assuming Doc Rivers is starting with the friggin' excuses, and he's throwing his players under the bus. That is pretty dirty from Doc Rivers. Right after the loss, you're going to be like, our guys were tired. I had to pull them out. I mean, you've been in the bubble for over a month.
Doc Rivers is a fraud, and I try to tell you, you try to tell me, we try to tell the world. Not only is he the only coach in NBA history to blow 3-3-1 leads, which is an incredible feat. Kudos to him. He's also blown 3 other 3-2 leads.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Terrible.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss on the podcast. I know we got kids who listen.
He's terrible.
He is terrible. But because he's a nice guy, like you said, because he seems to be well-liked by a lot of the players, and quite honestly, because he's a social justice activist, he's going to keep his job. He's not going anywhere.
I just saw...
And as a Laker fan, I love that, because it means that there's one less team we got to worry about in the Western Conference.
I saw something funny. Are you ready? Lou Williams is nothing but B.J. Armstrong with a Magic City VIP bracelet. Oh my God. People are just going in on social media. They're just murdering, absolutely destroying everything about the Clippers. Listen, when you talk all that smack, Beverly and Morris, remember what they were saying to Damian Lillard and talking all that trash and saying, bye-bye, you're going to be done. And now who's going home early? Like, listen, Patrick Beverly is getting exposed here as all talk, no action. I thought he was a lockdown defender. Jamal Murray gave him 40. He gave him a 40 piece in game 7. All right, quickly, I guess I got to talk about Lakers Nuggets. I plead, I was not ready for this. I don't think anybody was. Nuggets were heavy underdogs, and they're going to be heavy underdogs in this series. I saw one of the early lines was like the Lakers were minus 600 to win the series, so you got to lay 600 to win $100. Obviously, don't advocate anything like that. My first thought, and it's not fully fleshed out, and don't let me commit to this. I will come back tomorrow with a concrete pick on Thursday's podcast. I think the Lakers could be looking at a sweep here. There is just no matchup advantage at all for the Nuggets. I pulled Jokic's numbers against the Lakers this year. He had 22 rebounds in Game 7 against the Clippers, right? They don't have a center. In 4 meetings against the Lakers this year, Jokic averaged 5 rebounds a game. Listen, I'm not going to say he's garbage compared to, Anthony Davis, but it's just not a good matchup. Jokic actually has to play defense against Anthony Davis, and he's not going to be as an offensive effective. He's making those easy passes over his shoulder, no look, because he's getting guarded by a smurf. Montrezl Harrell's got like 3 or 4 inches on him. Anthony Davis is looking him eye to eye. I don't see an advantage there at all for Jokic. And I got to wonder, when you look at Jamal Murray, we just saw Frank Vogel's defense completely erase James Harden. Totally took him out. And the Rockets had no counterpunch. What's going to happen if they run the same strategy at Jamal Murray? Now, I don't think you need that in Game 1. I'll give Danny Green and KCP their chances. But I don't see an advantage anywhere. I know the Nuggets have some streaky guys. Millsap can get hot. Michael Porter Jr., who I think had 2 points in Game 7, he can get streaky. Gary Harris is a nice player. But the biggest question I have, Rob G, who guards LeBron? And please don't tell me Paul Millsap. He is still having nightmares about what LeBron did to him and the Hawks when the Hawks were the number 1 seed in the East, 60 wins, and LeBron dusted them 4-0. Budenholzer and Millsap. So I don't want to hear Millsap guarding him. I like Jeremy Grant. He's a capable defender. Good luck against LeBron. I don't know how they guard LeBron. Is sweep too aggressive, though?
It might be. I got Lakers in 5. I think that's what I'm leaning towards right now. But let me just say, I'm not ready to look ahead to that series yet because I'm not done dancing on the Clippers. Just for a second. Now, you already took the bat to Kawhi Leonard, because he's like to think he's the king and he's not, stop it.
Oh,
sorry, Colin.
Geez.
You're a friend of the show, but no. Let me tell you about my guy, Pandemic Pete.
Oh.
In 10 career playoff elimination games, you ready for this? Paul George, 17 points a game on 37% shooting. 1 in 9 in his career. And the Clippers traded away like 11 first-round draft picks for this guy.
And listen, I am a Paul George guy, Rob G. You know that. I like his game. I think he's a perfect number 2. I didn't realize he was that bad in elimination games. Playing like number 2. 37% shooting? Oh, my gosh. I don't know. What do you, internally, who do you think gets the finger pointing? Kawhi ain't going to blame Doc Rivers. Is he going to lay this at the feet of Paul George and be like, yo, we're 4 for 16 in Game 7. What's up, bro? I don't think Kawhi's built like that, though.
No, Kawhi won't say anything, and that's why it's so hard for people to rip him. And even though I think personally that there's a lot more going on beneath the surface than he gives us in the media, I think he's like a duck on the pond where on the top he's really still, but on the bottom his feet are always going. I mean, you saw during that recruitment process, he was a snake, dude.
Yeah.
He was playing both sides of the fence. His uncle was asking for extracurricular benefits, like he was a high school recruit. He wanted like a private jet. He wanted money outside of the salary cap. I don't know if you saw that he asked for like an extra incentive with advertising and stuff like that, so he can make more money on the side.
Greedy.
Like Kawhi is not the wholesome guy that you think he is. I mean,
but is that him or is that Uncle Dennis?
That's him. He's just because he doesn't say anything publicly, people don't think like that about him.
Well,
that he left the Jordan brand because he thought he wasn't getting enough money.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I have on him is. I had been on the set at FS1 with a couple of former San Antonio Spurs. And when this whole Popovich versus Kawhi thing, is he hurt, is he not? And then if you remember, Tony Parker and Manu were like, yo, he's playing 5-on-5 with us. I don't know what's up. There was a soft label attached to Kawhi Leonard late in San Antonio. And he wouldn't do back-to-backs. This injury, like the coaching staff, the trainers were all like, we got him as fine. And he says he's hurt. And then he goes to Toronto, and he don't want to run back-to-backs. And he goes to the Clippers. I'm not doing back-to-backs. And he hasn't played a back-to-back in like three or 4 years. And you got to wonder, like, when he comes out like this, a 6 for 22 in Game 7, I didn't see any dog in him. I didn't see him locking down Jamal Murray. You know, if it was LeBron, Game 7, and Jamal Murray is giving the Lakers a business, LeBron will guard Jamal Murray and lock him down. That will happen even though he's 35. Where was Kawhi? So this whole dog mentality, I don't know. He got really exposed here, Rob G. Listen, he's a great player. We get that. I'm not calling him garbage. But this idea that he's in LeBron's class, that needs to stop. It needs to stop now.
Yeah, there's levels to this. And the sooner that you all understand that LeBron James is in a class by himself, the only guy who is even within shouting distance of him is Kevin Durant.
Well, we'll see if Durant's healthy when he comes back.
Exactly, and that's the caveat with him. So
here are the numbers. Are you ready for Jokic, who was utterly dominant against the Clippers? Against the Lakers in 4 games, he averaged 16, 5 points, 5 assists. He only shot 48% from the field, which looks to be the lowest, or maybe the second lowest, of any team that he played 3 or 4 games against. So, listen, I know it's gonna sound like a hot take, but I will be looking to bet Lakers in a sweep. I'll see what the price is when they come out later this morning. But just a shocking development in the NBA. It's going to send ripples throughout the league, and I can't wait to have a buddy, friend of the show, Rob Parker, on, because he has been saying that this LeBron title, because I've been saying LeBron's going to win it, and he just says, oh, LeBron's going to win. It's not going to count. It's in the bubble. I can't wait to hear what the people who have been discounting this all along are going to say when LeBron goes through Portland, Houston, Denver, and Miami, or the Celtics. We'll see. We're not going to even do anything on the Celtics Heat game from Tuesday night. Listen, it was a thriller. Went overtime. Bam Adebayo with one of the great rejections you'll see in NBA history. With like 3 seconds left, blocked a Jason Tatum dunk. I'm sure you've seen the clip by now. That series is going to be tight, nip and tuck. Miami got hot from 3 and was able to win that game. But it'll be interesting. I mean, I still maintain LeBron and the Lakers will win it. I thought it would be over the Celtics, and I'm going to stick with that for now.